Well, hey YouTube, Madam Roy back again. As you can see, we are getting the start of this snow. It's, let's see, if my thing will focus here, 3:56 right now. And I'm going to turn the light off because people don't need to know I'm filming. And I'm leaving my house real quick to hit up Dollar Tree. They're predicting now in our area about 6 to 8, between 6 to 8, 8 to 10, and possibly 10 to 12, depending on if it turns over to sleet. Feel that, guys? You can see my traction control activated. My biggest problem with this car is that it's rear-wheel drive, which, because I don't have a lot of weight in the back of it, is really not that good on snow. So I got to take it really slowly here. Luckily, I do have semi-good tires on this car. You can see everybody else is still driving a little fast. This is a 40-mile-per-hour zone, and right now I'm hitting it right at about 34. And that is about the fastest I want to drive right now. If you guys can see on the road here, what looks like snow is actually snow mixed with mostly ice. I mean, it is so cold right now. Let's see what this says. You can see it's 18 degrees according to my car's thermometer. So what you're seeing there, the snow that's coming down now is instantly turning to ice. So I mean, I can actually feel it. I'm actually sliding a little bit just driving now. Unfortunately, I don't think the camera will pick that up. Now I'm putting my brakes on. When you're driving in snow, you want to apply your brakes very lightly. You can start to apply them a little bit heavier once you're going maybe about 5 or 10 miles an hour, but if you're coming to a stop on a road that's anywhere between, say, 45 to 55 miles an hour, you want to brake extremely slowly, because if you hit those brakes too hard, you're going to skid everywhere. Traction control didn't activate again, which is good. But yeah, I gotta be really careful because people in this part of Virginia do not know how to drive in the snow. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go over to the other lane here, because I don't trust people on the other side going around these bends. If they lose control, they could careen right into me. Still looking to get some kind of mount for the car. Unfortunately, for now, I have to hold the phone with my hand. Not ideal. Mainly going to be some computer updates. As you can see, I'm working on this IBM computer that I picked up the other day at the garage sale. I showed this off yesterday. Since then, I actually took out the floppy drive. Now, I attempted to tape it up with some electrical tape to make it look better, you know, get rid of that hole. But as you can see, the fan in this is so strong that it's actually pulling the tape back, so I have to try to figure out another solution for that. I may wind up just putting another floppy drive in there, but we'll have to see. Right now I am installing updates. I installed Windows 7 on this, at least temporarily. I wanted to see how it would run. You can see the specs on this are Intel Pentium 4, 3 gigahertz. And it's running 2 gigabytes of RAM, which I believe is the max for these IBM Net Vistas. Even though this is a ThinkCenter, it's based on the Net Vista case design. We'll go into the experience index here and see what we get. Processor gets a 3.5, not surprising because it's an older Pentium 4. Memory of 4.9. The graphics card gets a 4.9 for the Aero and a 4.5, which is kind of interesting because this is, even though it's a fairly high-end AGP card, it is still an AGP card, so I'm actually a little surprised there. And then, of course, 5.9 on the hard drive. So actually, the bottleneck in this computer is the processor. For a hard drive, I've actually put in a 320 gigabyte Seagate SATA drive. I was able to get a SATA drive in here, but I'll show you something that I was having a problem with. Now, for you guys that don't know, to open the case on here, you have to push this button in and pull at the same time, so I'm going to have to stop the camera to do that. Okay, now I've gotten inside the case. You can see how the hard drive is mounted in here. The problem that I have is this drive actually pulls forward and out the front of the case so you can get access to it. But as you can see, the SATA cable here is very close to the top. I almost broke the power cable trying to get it in here. What I had to do was run the actual cable underneath the drive here and through the bottom part of the carriage to be able to actually plug it in. So if you guys are trying to upgrade your own systems, just be aware that putting a SATA hard drive in this computer is not all that easy. Even though it's theoretically possible and designed for it, it makes it very hard to shut that cage. Nothing else in here has changed. It still has that same video card. The memory is still in there. Now it does need to be cleaned out. As you can see, I haven't actually blew it out yet, and that's just because it's so cold outside that I'm afraid that if I use the air compressor, I might actually be blowing condensation in here, so I have to wait till a semi-warmer day. Interesting design with this computer is you can actually see that the CPU fan is front mounted on here, and what it does is it actually blows hot air out here, and then I'm not exactly sure how that's supposed to work. I guess that theoretically there should be another fan here, and if it's blowing the hot air out here, then it should convex and circulate out the back, because it is actually fairly warm in here. So I think what I might do is, if you can see right there on the motherboard, there is a 3-pin fan connector, so I might look through my closet for an extra 80mm fan and go ahead and throw that in there, because putting my hand in here, it is really, really warm. So I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Alright, I found this Tysol 12 volt, which I believe is an 80mm fan. This was actually a CPU fan from an old computer I had. Not that one there, but another one that I threw out the other day, so I actually had to fish this out of the garbage. But as you can see, this is the right size for this IBM, so I'm going to go ahead and mount this. Actually, I think it's supposed to go that way. And we'll see if this helps with the cooling problem. Alright, and as you can see, the fan is mounted. It's held on the back by 4 of these pretty thick screws. Let me show you what they look like here. They pretty much look like this. They're really, really thick threads on here, so they grip pretty tightly. Unfortunately, this one would not go in, and I just realized why. I don't know if the camera will pick that up or not, but you can see the slit right there is broken, but I really don't need it. I mean, I'm pulling pretty hard on this, and it's in there nice and tight. So next thing to do is go ahead and plug the power cable into the motherboard right there, and we'll go ahead and give this new fan a try. Well, new used. Alright, let's see if this fan works. So far, so good. It seems to be blowing a good amount of air. Might have to do something about that cable management, though. Blowing a decent amount of air out. Boy, something here is making a lot of noise. Trying to figure out what it is. It's actually the hard drive. I think it's the hard drive vibrating against that cage. Well, let's see if she'll boot up. It's definitely a promising sign. It's very odd, though, that they didn't put an actual fan in there to start, because you can feel how warm it gets in there. You definitely need something pushing warm air out of this system. I'm going to go ahead and let this boot up, and then we'll run speed fan and see what that says temperature-wise. So be back in a minute. Well, now I'm in the BIOS. Adding that fan didn't really give me the amount of cooling that I really wanted. And of course my monitor is going to put a message up where I want to show you guys. So what I'm doing in the BIOS is I'm going to turn for the fan control, which is on normal at the moment. There's quiet and then on, which is where I want it to be, because I want those fans to be continually on. And as you might be able to hear, the fans have sped up. So I'm going to go ahead and boot the system up and let it sit for a couple minutes. And we'll see exactly how much cooler it was. Just to let you guys know, the CPU temp, according to SpeedFan, was sitting right about 52 degrees. So we'll see if that changes at all. I hope the mic's picking this up. Let's see how hard it's working, that fan. It's trying, but unfortunately this fan is not the healthiest. You can hear it's having a hard time maintaining the speed. But for right now, it's the only one that I have, so I'm going to have to make do with it until I can search the bottomless pit in there for something that's a little bit better. It spins freely, but I still think the bearings are a little worn out on it. Let's see what the SpeedFan says. I think it's about booted up at the moment. Remember, before it was telling me the CPU was sitting right around, I think 52, 54 degrees, something like that. Which, if for this kind of design, I'm not surprised, because this case design was not very good. Instead of having the fan blow everything out the back, the CPU fan's actually blowing it towards the front, and then has to use the convection process to go up, and they get blown out of the back of the case. But the only fan back there was the power supply fan, which was not up to the task. And it looks like this one still isn't. As you can see, both fans are topped out. Fan 1 being the CPU fan, I believe, is right at 2700, and fan 4, the case fan, is at 22, but you could see it's still running right around 51 degrees Celsius, a little bit warmer than I would like. I'm not sure what these other ones are. Hard drive temp is good. I don't know if temp 1 might be the video card or not. The funny thing was, on my Vostro 400, it always showed that temp 1 was right about that too, about at 78 degrees. I'm wondering if that's just a false positive. Maybe one of you guys can tell me exactly what temp 1 means. But for now, I'm just going to use this system to kind of play around with. I don't have any plans to sell it because it's kind of beat up, and I'd have to find some better fans because I would not trust this for any long-term use. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I'm going to end it here because I am going to be very busy for the rest of the day. One thing I wanted to let you guys know is I know you've been commenting about all the dislikes recently on my channel. And my last vlog video got something ridiculous, like 15 thumbs down and maybe only 7 thumbs up. And I did some research on it. Apparently, there are a lot of trolls on YouTube now that are going to my channel, probably because of that Dell XPS 8700 video I put up. And a trend now is to just go to a certain YouTube user and dislike all the all their videos. So if you guys want to combat that, please, if you really enjoy my video, give it a thumbs up. You know, I really appreciate the support. And if you honestly don't like one of my videos, you can give me the thumbs down, but please give me some constructive criticism. I'm out here to serve you guys. I want to give content that I know you guys are going to like. So, as always, everybody, have a blessed day.